Okay, so in the last session just we covered up to on account receipt. Now we'll see miscellaneous receipt creation. So to create the miscellaneous receipt, we know we have to create the receivable activity to address that miscellaneous activity, and based with the help of miscellaneous receipt we can create the with the help of receivable activity we can create the miscellaneous receipt. We'll see that. Say create miscellaneous say create receivables activity for miscellaneous receipts. After creating the receivable activity for miscellaneous receipt, we can create miscellaneous receipt. Within the miscellaneous receipt creation, we can select the same activity so that that amount will hit to the relevant account which we are going to select within the activity. We'll go and see that. So setup and maintenance. Search for the task called as receivables activities. You can go through project or directly you can go with this search for receivables activities. Manage receivables activities. You can say create. Select our BU. Our BU name is Google US Business Unit. Right, select. So what is the reason we are going to get miscellaneous revenue to organization? Based on that we can give the name, or else we can provide the generic name as Google Miscellaneous Revenue. Select activity type as miscellaneous cash. Set this none and provide the relevant account. So company, department, select account. Let's try with the revenue miscellaneous. Okay, treat this as a revenue account and you can select it. In this value set level, most of the values are disabled by someone who are practicing on this instance. So no issues. Just we make sure that we are selecting the some miscellaneous revenue related account, then say save and close. Done. Now by using that receivable activity, we can create the receipt which we call as miscellaneous receipt. Go to receipt workbench. So navigator, under receivables we have a accounts receivables which will navigate us to receipt workbench. Let's go to task list, say create receipt. So select receipt type as a miscellaneous. So the relevant fields also will system display, it will hide the fields which talks about the customer association and all. How you are receiving that miscellaneous money from the customer, so that you can specify through check or cash. Accordingly you can select receipt method, receipt number, and because of which activity you are receiving that money. as a miscellaneous revenue. So how much amount? Say $10. Done. Okay, you may write some other information here, the reference, or you may write comments why you are receiving. So that's how you can specify, then say save and close. Done. So it's the same process we could see in EBS also. Same setup, one setup we have to do receivable activity. Then by using that we can create the miscellaneous receipt. That's all. So here that's all about it. Now we'll see the receipts creation through spreadsheet, ADFDI. Okay, ADFDI. So in payables we have seen how to create invoice through spreadsheet. Receivables, receipts you can create through spreadsheet. So that is nothing but batch functionality. In EBS, in receivables we have a receipt batch. Okay, we have a receipt batch functionality. The same they given through spreadsheet. Okay, to create the receipts through spreadsheet, the ADFDA file need to be installed in the client machine. That already we did as a part of payables only. We'll go and see that process. When I talk about this receipt creation through batch, so there are a few steps involved. So first, say create receipts in spreadsheet. So after that we'll import receipts into receipts to say AR, and we have to post the receipts. After posting the receipts, you can apply the receipts on any transaction, and only we can apply receipts. Open transaction. This we know very well how to do it. So as a process to understand, I'm just listing out. So first we have to create the receipts in spreadsheet, and then we have to import the same receipts into receivables. After importing, we have to post the receipts. If you don't post the receipts, those receipts won't be available in the receipt workbench to apply on open transactions. Okay, posting is mandatory. We'll see that. So we are under accounts.
Auto application is available. Auto receipt application.
You have to set criteria for that.
That's a setup part, right?
Yeah, that you have to do the setup. Based on that, you can you can go with the application, auto application.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Fine. So here we have a task called as create receipts in a spreadsheet. The second task, just click on the task, say open. Say connect. Provide user credentials. Skip. So create receipt batch. So select receipt source, Google manual. Okay, we create a receipt source, right, as a part of setups. That batch name, the source name we have to select, and batch name you can provide Google receipts method, receipt method, how you are getting the payments from customer through check. Select remittance bank account details. We have a bank account called as Google, select it. So Rust system is defaulting the account name, and here system is taking the batch data, account date, currency information, and here you can specify the control count and control amount. How many receipts you are going to create through this batch? Say 2 receipts. For the 2 receipts, what would be the total amount? Say $30,000 amount, $30,000, and here you can give that information sequence. So it's a first receipt, the receipt number, ADFPI 1, receipt amount say $20,000, accounting date, same you can copy and paste here, and currency you can anyway we have currency specification in the header level. So for each receipt it is not mandatory to select, not required. If you want to select you can select it, but not required, optional. And provide customer details, just double click, customer name is Google, right? Google, customer 1, select and say okay. Provide customer site, just say okay. Just verify any mandate information, no. So create one more receipt, sequence wise too, and just I'm giving the receipt number. Since we are creating through ADFDA function, I'm just writing the receipt number as ADFDA 1 and 2, and we just plan to enter total 30,000, so enter 10 more thousand for second receipt, and same date you can copy and paste since that is the field is mandatory. Optionally you may select currency. So here what you could do is you copy and paste this information in the second row instead of searching again. Done. So we created receipts. Okay, the receipt related information we provided here, this we can, as a second step we created, now we can import. Click on upload, say okay. Fine. So we created and imported. Now we have to post the same receipts in receivables. So here you could see in the receipt batch its system will display. So to get updated that information here you can switch to other task and come back to the same account receivables. By the time the update system receives, and you could see here. So now you could see under accounts receivable the receipt batches, one batch we have. So batch type is manual, status is ready to post, batch number system is created automatically, control count is 2, control total amount is 30,000. Now what we have to do is select this batch and say post. Once we post, this information will be available as a receipt information in the receipt window. So again go back to some billing or just to refresh. Now you don't find that under batches, that is already posted. If it is unposted then only it will display. Now these receipts will be available, you can go and find it. So manage receipts, receipt number, starts with ADFDA, right? ADFDA 1, 2. Two receipts are created. Okay. Before you post, you don't find these receipts in this window. So if you want to apply the process, is just right. Just want to apply, what we have to do, just we have to open that. Just click on receipt number, or click select receipt, or click on edit and click on add open receivables. Apply this receipt on any open transaction. That is a standard process which already we tested, how to apply the receipt on the transaction. Done. That's all about receipt creation through spreadsheet or batch receipts. Now let's look at receipt reversal. The same like two options we have: standard receipt reversal and debit memo receipt reversal. So first we'll go and perform the standard receipt reversal. So we know, like in standard reversal, what happens? Well, if you reverse the receipt, again system will reopen the transaction. In case of debit memo receipt reversal, if you reverse the receipt, it won't reopen the transaction. It will create the debit memo with the same open amount, right? The same, just will go and find any one of the receipt so we can perform the reversals. If you search with the customer, search. Fine. So we'll go with this receipt. Just click on receipt number. If you look at this receipt, the receipt amount is 8,000. It says 8,000 is applied on this transaction number 4. So if you just reverse the receipt, we call it as standard receipt reversal. In that case, the application it will reverse again. This transaction with 8,000 will open. Right, we'll go and do it. Go to actions. Okay, reversal, right? Reversal you can do from here. Go to actions and say reverse. So reversal reason category. Say customer given check and we submitted got bounced, no funds in the customer account. The actual reason is the same. Non-social category of reason and reason same. You may write some comments here, then say reverse. The application will get reversed. Again, the transaction will be open. The same we could see once you complete this action. So now there is no application.
If the receipt is already accounted, so reversal entries also will be created, right?
Yes, yes.
Or once we reverse, do we need to apply, do we need to submit accounting?
Accounting you have to submit. Accounting for anything, just you have to
Oh,
submit the accounting. Okay, it will
okay.
just update the record based on the action, but you have to submit the accounting. Then only it will just create and it will trigger and it will transfer to GL also. Fine. So here you could see there is no application now. Now again, if you go to transaction number 4, you could see that is outstanding transaction. So now we'll see how to perform the debit memo receipt reversal, where it won't reverse the existing application. So with how much amount we are trying to reverse the receipt, with the same amount it will open the debit memo transaction, which should be equal to invoice transaction. Right, just now we'll go with this receipt. Click on this receipt. Here now you can see this receipt status is reversed. Fine. Here we have a receipt with the 10,000 and we apply 10,000 on transaction number 1. Now if you go with the debit memo reversal, this application remains same. So by reversing what we achieve, will reopen. Okay, instead of reopening the same transaction, system will create the separate transaction as a debit memo. So that only we call as debit memo reversal. Because of reversal, system will create the new transaction by opening the same amount separately. So to perform the debit memo reversal, just click on reverse. Because these all are there in EBS, that is the reason we are not going with a very detailed level discussion to understand from the basics. So just you can specify what is the reason you are reversing and you may write the comments. If you directly click on reverse, this will be reversed. This system will just undo this application. Now we don't want to do it. So enable debit memo reversal. So with which transaction type system has to create the debit memo transaction. Select the same debit memo transaction type and provide the account. you can say reverse. Just click on OK and say reverse. Now the application will remain same, but the impact of this reverse will create separate debit memo by opening the same 10,000 as customer is still liable. It remains same. It's showing as updated, but if you can go and find one reversal transaction. Yes. Go to transaction workbench to find out the transaction. The same you could see in EBS also, same process. So here you can search with the customer name. We'll let it fetch all the transactions. So here we can find system created debit memo reversal with the transaction source called as debit memo reversal, the transaction type class called as debit memo. By using the debit memo, Google debit memo transaction type, it created with the 10,000. The application remains same, but the reversal action will create separate transaction to reopen the same applied amount since we are reversing. That's it. Debit memo receipt reversal. So that's how just we can perform the standard reversal as well as debit memo receipt reversals. I think the sheet is open. Yep. Debit memo. Now we'll see the reciprocal customer transactions. Okay. So when you talk about reciprocal customer, we know the same feature you could see in EBS. It's all about creating the transaction against one customer and receiving the payment from different customer. Before that, we have to create the relationship between those two customers so that system will allow us one customer receipt to apply on another customer transactions. Okay.
Like third party payments in AP.
Yes, in payables point of view, third party payment. This is third party customer payment. Means here we are receiving same.
Right.
Yeah, parties are. Here they're supplier, here customer. That's it. So there, instead of paying to one supplier, we'll pay to another supplier. Here, instead of receiving from one customer, we receive from the other customer.
Other
So
customers.
same. Fine. So already we have one customer called as Google customer 1, right? So now what we'll do is we'll create one more customer called as, just we'll go with the same name, Google Corporation. Let me take this name. Now say our actual customer is Google customer 1. So we'll create the transaction against this Google customer 1. Finally, we may get the payment from Google Corporation 1. So if you want to have a transaction with the Google customer 1, receipt with the Google Corporation, and if you are expecting system should allow Google Corporation receipt on Google customer 1 transaction, we have to create relationship between these two customers as a reciprocal customers. These two are reciprocal. That means behalf of one other can pay. Okay, that setup we have to complete so that system will allow. Along with that, we have to complete few more setups also. We'll see that first. What are the setups we have to complete to handle this kind of scenarios? Say create new customer. Okay, reality when we have this scenario will be handling, but here to test we'll create one more customer, that also I'm mentioning as a setup part. So new customer, which customer you have to create? Google Corporation. Already we have Google customer 1. So after that, we want to handle this kind of scenario in which business unit. For that business unit, we have to enable this reciprocal customer option. So that you can set through system options. So say enable reciprocal customers at system options. In system options, we have to enable for our specific BU as this reciprocal concept can be handled. Okay, should be supported in for specific BU related transactions. So after that, we have to assign. So if you remember, at the time of customer address creation, we used different reference data set that we assigned to business unit through reference data objects. The same way for this customer relationships, to create the reciprocal customer relationship, we have one reference data object, and to that object also you have to make sure that which reference data set we assign to customers related account sites. We'll see that. Just I'll give you the we'll take that point and we'll see how to execute in the system. Say assign reference data set to BU. Okay, which reference data set we have to assign to BU? For BU, which one? Like it's related to customer relationship. Okay, the object reference data object name is customer relationship. So we'll see this. Once we see, we can understand. And once we're done with that, we can create relationship between the customer, create reciprocal relationship. Okay, between these two customer, we'll create the reciprocal relationship. In our scenario, what we do is to test this functionality, we'll create the transaction against this customer receipt with this customer, and we'll be applying this customer receipt on this customer transaction. So that means we have to create the relationship saying that behalf of Google customer 1, Google Corporation can make the payments to us. That's how we have to create the relationship. To test this functionality, what we'll do is, okay, from Google customer, from Google customer 1, we'll create the transaction with any amount, say 5,000, any amount you can take, and create receipt from with a Google Corporation. The Google Corporation, taking a Google Corporation as a customer, will create receipt. The same 5,000. And this we can apply on Google customer 1 transaction. System will support because of these setups, which we enable at the system options level for the BU and this reference data set as well as relationship. We'll see that. First, we'll create new customer called as Google Corporation. Okay. So before that, at the time of customer address, we have to choose the reference data set which is mapped at our BU level, right? We'll go and verify which reference data set we are using. So the same we'll use for this customer also. Okay, here directly you can search. Okay, here we'll go with the project, because there we have to scope should be business unit, right? So navigate through project. Business unit set assignments. Task is business unit set assignment. So for customer account site, which reference data set we are using? Google USBU cust set. So now when you create the relationship between the two customer as reciprocal, so in that case also we have to make sure that the same reference data set, okay, we are using for customer account relationship also, or else you can create different one. That will be relation time will be specifying one reference data set, the same we have to use. Generally we can use the same, no need to create separate one. So we have to just relation time, whatever we select, that you have to select here, or else whatever you select here, the same you have to select at the time of customer relationship definition. Okay, fine, that we'll see as a part of setups. We'll do it just to verify which reference data set we are using for customer account site. Just we are just reviewing this setup, that's all. Fine, we'll go one by one now. So create new customer, search for create customer. Create customer, click on go to task icon. Okay, the customer name is Google Corporation. Select address set, whatever is just specified at VU level, that is Google US BU cust set. The format is missing for address. Your site name is Google Corp site. Just even not mandatory to fill it. Select postal code. Select any one of the postal code just to complete this definition. And specify the address purpose. So this address for say bill to. If you want to create one more address, you may create for ship to, or else you may mark it as for ship to also same. So if it is a ship to, map the ship to with bill to. Ship to bill to same, so select it. Done. We created, say save and close. Now we have to assign our customer profile class to this customer. It's showing some similar customers existence. Select from existing organization or create as a new organization. Yes, we want to create as a new organization only. Say okay. Find our customer, Google Corporation. Now assign our customer profile class to our customer. Click on account number. So we know how to create customer already, we have seen. So we don't need to discuss much on this again. So then go to profile history, right? Go to profile history. Here you could see the profile class which system is taking is default. We have to override it. Actions, say correct record. And here these fields will open. So select Google standard customer profile class for our customer. Say yes. And say save and close. Now the same we have to repeat for site level also. Click on site number. Go to profile history. Click on create site profile. So So it's a defaulting, say save and close. Save and close. Done. Customer is ready. What is the next step? We have to enable the reciprocal customer function at feature at system options for our business unit. Okay, we'll go and do it. Search for system options or receivable system options. Search for system options. So here we have a task called as manage receivable system options. Just click on go to task icon. So now again we no need to create, already we just defined the system, configure the system options, select our BU and find it. Google US Business Unit. Search and find system options record for our BU. Just click on BU name or select this record and click on edit. So we want to enable reciprocal customer relationship, right? If you scroll a little down here, you could see customer section. There we have checkbox called as create reciprocal customer. Enable it. So we are enabling here means we are enabling for our business unit. So save and close. Some issue it is addressing. We're able to save it. We'll go and verify whether that is saved or not. Okay, done. Cancel it. Done. We completed this setup. Okay, just we're done with this. Yeah, wait, I'm coming. Just give it 2 minutes. I'll be back, please. Somebody is calling. Just 2 minutes, please. I'll be back within 2 minutes. Okay, fine. We'll continue. So just we enabled the reciprocal customer just a function or say just which allows us to create the reciprocal customer relationship. Now we'll just go and assign a reference data set to BU. Okay, or else at the time of yes, we'll do it and we'll proceed. Okay, done. So just search for the task called as business unit set assignments. Just click on go to task icon. And here we have a reference data object called as customer account relationship. If you are going to create a relationship with another customer, so here we have to use the specific reference data set. So whatever you specify here, by using that reference data set only, we have to create the relationship. What we select here for this object and what we'll be selecting at the time of relationship, these two should be same. Okay, we'll use the same Google one. Okay, so Google US BU customer set. Then say save and close. So we assigned at BU level. Now create reciprocal relationship. How to create relationship, from which customer we are creating? We are going to create the transaction against which customer. We have to go to that customer. That means we have to go to Google customer 1 and we have to specify the payment can be received from Google Corporation. That's all. Search for manage customers, click on manage customers. Customer name is Google customer 1. Directly go to account, click on account number. So go to tab called as relationships. Just click on relationships. The relationships, click on add. So when you click on add here, system will ask for other customer account number. Okay, we'll go and get that account number and we'll just try to perform this. We'll make a note of that Google corporation account number. We'll search and select it. Just will take a note. So customer Google corporation customer account number is 25095. That's it. This is the number we need for mapping. Now search for our customer 1. So now go to account number, click on account number and go to relationships, click on add relationship or create relationship. So we are going to create the relationship with another customer. Which customer? The customer number we have that you can select here. Just go with LOV. So search your number. This is the account number. Click on search. Google Corporation. Yes, we are creating relationship with the Google Corporation to act as a reciprocal customer. Enable that. And we assigned reference data set to BU for the reference data object called as customer account relationship, right? So which reference data set we assign that level, the same reference data set we have to select as account relationship set. These two should match, otherwise it won't work. Search. This is the one which we assign. Say OK. Say OK. Done. You can say save and close. So just we have to do it account level, site level. No, such kind of option you don't find it. So we're done with this. Now we'll create the transaction against customer 1 and we'll create receipt against corporation and we'll apply that receipt on customer 1 transaction. We'll go and see that. Go to transaction workbench. Just click on billing task. Say create transaction. So transaction against customer 1. You may select item or else you can write some description. Yes, we discussed $25,000. Say complete and review. Okay, this is the transaction number 1001. Just close this. Now we'll go and create the receipt against Google Corporation. Under Receipts workbench, click on Create Receipt. Select Receipt Method. Select it. Receipt number is R123. Receipt amount, how much we received, say $5,000. From whom we received? We received from Google Corporation. Select that customer site. Now say submit and apply. Click on add open receivables. Same process. We know how to apply the receipt. Okay. So done. So here you can search for the customer one transactions. Receipt is Google Corporation, but here we are going to search for Google customer one transaction. System should display. The reason is these two customers has relationship. So it's showing. Otherwise normally it won't show. If you are searching for the same receipt related customer, it will display. Now search. The receipt which we created, that is against the customer Google Corporation. Now this is Google Corporation receipt, and these transactions are related to Google customer one. We are going to apply the receipt on this transaction. This is the transaction number. So add. Just say done. So Google Corporation receipt we applied on Google customer one transaction. Even if you look at setups also, same setups we do in EBS and same process. Done. What is the next concept we have here? Cross-currency receipts. We'll create the transaction in one currency, receipt in the different currency. So yes, this functionality we have in EBS also. Same we'll see here how to do it. So basically we have to maintain daily rates. Before that, say enable bank account as multi-currency account, because when you create receipt, the receipt will be in the different currency. Apart from our functional, that should be allowed by bank account. Take the amounts into account. Then say define daily rates. You can create transaction in our functional currency, that is USD, and we'll create receipt in foreign currency. Create receipt in foreign currency. Here is INR for us as per our setup. This INR receipt will apply on USD transaction. Other accounting information and all, just already we have that realized gain or realized loss accounts, everything we have in the system options level. Since mandatory already we specified, so we have to complete only these setups. Go to bank account to enable as that account is multi-currency account which can be used for any currency payments. Could be what we pay or what we receive from the customer, any payments, any currency payments. You can navigate from project or else directly from search. FSM homepage we can navigate. So bank accounts. Go to bank accounts and enable multi-currency checkbox for our bank account. Search for Google corporate account. Click on edit. I think as a part of payables we did already. No. Fine. This is the one. Multi-currency account. This checkbox we have to enable. I think payables we tested in the different environment, right? Later we changed. So we have to make sure that this checkbox is enabled. So in case of EBS, along with that, there will be separate options related to receivables. That level also you have to enable. But in the Fusion bank account level, if you enable the checkbox, it allows you to make the foreign currency payments in payables or cross currency payments in the payables in different currency receipts and receivables. It supports for two applications. Application wise, you don't need to set a control. That's how they're given. So save and close. Done. The next step here is we have to define the daily rates. So search for the task called as daily rates. Task is manage daily rates. We'll create through spreadsheet. Go to daily rates. Say create in spreadsheet. Say connect. Select currency between which currencies we are going to set conversion. Conversion rate is corporate from and to date. So May 16th, 18. Just for one day we can set it up. Rate is $1 equal to say 65 and import those rates. Okay, done. So now we'll go and create the transaction or functional currency. Let's go to navigator. Customer is Google customer. One. Services, say $100 or any amount you can enter. Say complete and review or say complete and close. The transaction number is 100 to cancel it, to close. So now we create a transaction. I'll create receipt. Say we just given the invoice in USD. We bill to the customer in USD, but customer is paying in rupees. So we'll go and create receipt in INR. Select receipt method. Receipt number is INR 123. in which currency we are receiving the payment in rupees, and how much amount we received. Here you can verify here just a conversion rate as on today as rate available in the application. Okay, INR to USD is 0.0153 because we know it's inverse rate. We given USD to INR, automatic system created USD INR to USD. Right, done. That is available. Now you can enter the amount. How much amount we received from the customer? That amount you can enter. The variance it goes into realized gain or loss account. So say you received 6,500, could be exact amount since same day. Okay, just you can enter how much amount that you can enter received amount. The variance system will be hitting to the relevant accounts. And from which customer you received that amount, you specify that. Google customer one. Customer site. So submit and apply. Go to add open receivables. Okay, this is not like just transaction currency related receipt. It's a different currency. So when you go and search for the transaction, so first let's select customer, which customer related transaction we are going to search. Google customer one. And it's going to be cross currency transaction. Enable cross currency, otherwise you don't find that transaction to apply this different currency receipt. Enable cross currency, then search. Now you can find USD transaction to apply this INR receipt. So these all are USD transactions. Whatever we created is with $100 that you can select and say add and click on done. In the background you could see it's applied. Okay, basically the rate should get defaulted here. So everything is taking, but it's not showing just that rate is. It's 65, right? So it's exactly it's matching. You can give the different rate accordingly. It will take the variance into relevant accounts. So save and close. That's how we can perform the cross currency receipts. Transaction in one currency, receipt in the different currency. Still will be able to apply. For that, those are the setups required. So now we'll see the receipt write-off. Okay, how to write off the receipt amount with the different reasons. Okay, we'll be just testing when we have say some excess amount you may write off. The excess amount is very less amount you may write off, or excess amount is more you may keep on customer account, or if excess amount is more and if customer is requesting us to refund, we may refund it. Now to test this receipt write off, we'll go with say customer paid some excess amount and that we are going to write off. If you don't write off the very minimal amount, the small amount, you may not place on the customer amount, you may not refund, but still all the time it will be showing in your books there is so amount from the customer which is unapplied amount. To avoid that case, we can write off it. We'll see that. So if you want to write off any receipt amount which customer paid and which is just lying in our system as a receipt amount which as unapplied, which cannot be placed on account since amount is less, and the same you may not refund to the customer since customer is not interested to take that $1 or 10 cents whatever the amount you have as a part of receipt. So if you want to perform the receipt write-off, we have to complete a few setups. First, in the system options level, we have to set write-off limits. Say set up write-off limits at system options. For our specific business unit, so what is the limit to write off the amounts that we have to specify. After that, we have to set up write off limits for user also, specific user. Okay, it's like something like approval limits for users. So once we're done with that, when you perform the write-off, system will look for the account to hit that write-off amounts. For that, we require receivable activity for receipt write-off. So create receivables activity for receipt write-off. Okay. Once we're done with this, once we are ready with the setups to test that functionality, we'll go with a simple case. So we'll go and create the transaction. You may create with say uh, $999 transaction and say customer paid $1,000. So $1 excess amount. The $1 just there may not be policy in our company to refund to customer, or since $1 customer also may ignore by request, instead of requesting to keep an account will use in future, they may ignore it. In that case, we have to write off, otherwise it will come in the reports. So in that case, what we'll do is we'll create receipt with $1,000 and we can apply up to $999 only, since we use natural applications. That means we cannot apply more than transaction amount with any receipt. So remaining $1 will write off. We'll write off 1 USD. Done. So we'll go and see this. First, we have to set up write off limits at system options. Go to system options through our uh, project. So manage implementation projects, overview. Search for system options. So manage receivable system options. Just click on go to task icon. Select our business unit. Fine. So just click on BU name. So here we have to set the write-off limits. Go to cash processing tab, and here we have an option called as write-off limits per receipt from and to. The range you can specify. So now we are going to deal with the positive case. That means excess amounts we are going to write off. There will be cases where we'll just write off the negative scenarios, like where customer is not paying, will write off, which comes under the bad debts and all. In that case, we'll be representing the amount in the negative. So here, since we are going with the positive, I'll say so 0 to $1,000 we can write off. It's organization level limit. User level we will be setting. Okay, so say save and close. Done. Next step is user. From user, we have to set the write-off limit. Self write-off limits we cannot set. Now we are just accessing the application as a Google user. If you want to set write-off limits for Google user from Google user, you cannot do it. For Google user, if you want to set write-off limits from the same login, you cannot do it. So you have to do it from different login. So I'll switch to other user, so that from that user we can set to this user. That means self write-off limits we cannot define for any user. I'll just go with a user called as Fusion India. From here we'll just directly from search page we can perform it. To set that write-off limits, we have a task called as approval limits. The tasks in receivables you can find as a approval limits. Search for approval limits task. So manage approval limits. Click on create. Select user. Document type is receipt write-off. Currency is USD. Minimum approval amount to write off for this user, Google user. The organization level we given 0 to 1000. For this user we can give 0 to max $100 only. Up to 100 only this user can write off. Done. Now we can just sign out and we can sign in with our user. We're done with this setup. And now we have to go and create the receivables activity. A receivable activity you can create from project or directly from FSM homepage by just clicking on search task. Click on search. Search for receivables activities. Manage receivables activities. Say create. Select our BU. So your name we can give Google receipt write-off. Select an activity type as receipt write-off. Select account. The write-off reason you can select as account may be customer overpayment. Okay. That's how you can select. If relevant account is there, we'll select, or else you can select any one of the account just to complete this setup. Say overpayment. No issue, just pick any one of the account. It won't stop you from doing. So basically we'll be selecting the right account like some write-off account, or else just very generic account you may have as a write-off account, receipt write-off, or customer over. Normally it's a scenario is overpayment, so you can have that account and you can select and define it. Done. I will create the transaction with $999. Go to transaction workbench. Click on billing. So create transaction. Say complete and close. It will pop up the transaction number 1003. Now you can switch to receipt workbench by clicking on accounts receivable task. Say create receipt. Receipt number is R11. Amount received is $1,000. Received from customer is Google customer 1. The customer site is this. Click on submit and apply. Click on add open receivables. The transaction number is 1003. Search. Select. Say add and done. So now system will apply $999 from 1000 receipt. Still $1 is available as unapplied. Now if you want to write off this amount, you can go to actions, go to more. Here we have create write off. So how much amount you want to write off? Now only $1. If you have $10 to write off, you may write off 10, or else you can override with only $5 you want to write off. Remaining you may keep on account. Different reasons you can specify. So that $1 related amount should hit to which receivable activity of account. That specify. Say okay. Now once we're done with this, save it. So there is no unapplied amount. With total amount is applied 999, that amount on this transaction, remaining $1 on as a receipt item. Done. So these are the setups and process. This also remains same as EBS. Okay, so we're done with this receipt write-off. The tomorrow session will see customer refund and aging buckets, revenue recognition, balance for billing. So these we could complete in tomorrow session, and max 3 sessions we can close receivables. So fine. So that's all for today. Any questions from anyone, please? If no questions, we can wind up for today and we will connect tomorrow.